You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, y'all. Tomorrow is the beginning of the first public hearings in the House impeachment inquiry of Donald Trump. Now, of course, all this started really with that phone call to Ukraine, where Donald Trump claims it was a perfect call. It was perfect. But then we have a whistleblower who says, no, Donald Trump literally asked a foreign government to investigate a political rival. Republicans have tried their best to cut this down. They've called it crazy. They've called it outlandish. They've called it made up. They've called it a coup. Now their new defense is, okay, yeah, it was quid pro quo, but because he wasn't smart enough to follow through with it, it really didn't happen. I don't really know how that one's gonna fly. Now we got the Roger Stone case out of Florida, where we now know that one of the Trump folks testified that yes, that Roger Stone gave the Trump people a heads up about WikiLeaks doing an email dump as well. Ooh, so many things just coming out. And then Trump has been on a tirade on social media, angered by all of this, by trying to blast Adam Schiff. And Republicans say, well, no, Schiff should testify and Hunter Biden should testify. Really, y'all? Joining us right now is Congresswoman Karen Bass. She's a California chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congresswoman, clearly having these public hearings, the public will now actually get to hear testimony that has been happening behind closed doors. How critical is that?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very significant. You know, I have seen the testimony of several of these witnesses in the classified hearing room. And, you know, we had to do it that way first because we didn't want people matching their testimony and all of that like a grand jury. And so for people to hear from their mouths, now all the information is out there, so it's not like you're going to hear something tomorrow that's going to be shocking. But to see this man whose career is impeccable, to hear essentially him saying, in all the years that I have been in the military, been in foreign service, no one has ever asked that military aid be withheld from a country at war, under attack, while a president takes care of my campaign in the future. And you know what I think is so different, Roland, is that the Mueller report is about what Trump did in the past. The Ukraine incident and everything that's happening now is about the president trying to throw the next election. So it's about his criminal activity in process. And that is profoundly different than what we had been looking at before.
You have folks like Congressman Mark Meadows that they plan to try to scuttle as much of this as possible. You have Congressman Jim Jordan, who needs to be answering for his own involvement or knowledge when it comes to sexual allegations coming out of Ohio involving a wrestling team he was a coach of. You know, they're trying to throw as much dirt on this as possible, but they've also been lying. You've had folks like Matt Gaetz, who's been running out there, congressman from Florida, saying, oh, Republicans have been denied an opportunity. They haven't had any due process, but they've been in the room. They've actually been asking questions.
But you know what? Their questions have been really interesting because they really don't have anything to say. I mean, I stayed there and watched their questioning, and I thought they were going to try to tear apart the witnesses' testimony, and they really didn't. So they were asking questions more about the process. They don't have anything to say substantively. The thing that the Republicans do, like you just said a minute ago, is that they lie and they will adopt whatever language you're using. So if you say the president robbed a bank, well, they'll say, well, Biden robbed a bank. And so everything becomes equal. But there is no equality here in terms of anything you think Biden might have done versus what Trump was doing. I mean, Trump essentially tried to bribe a president. He tried to bribe a president by saying, unless you go public, and he was specific, you got to get on CNN, and you have to tell the CNN audience that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were involved in corruption, and I am going to initiate an investigation. That's what they told the president he had to do in order to save his people who were under military attack. But then they say, well, you know what? Barack Obama wouldn't give him the weapons. Barack Obama held the weapons back. So everything becomes equal. And that's the confusion that they spread. And because they have a TV network that helps spread that confusion, people become very confused, which is why, that's another reason why it's so important that these witnesses are coming forward tomorrow. And, you know, given that I work overseas a lot, you know that, Roland, I think people in the State Department, they've had enough. They're tired of being disrespected. They're tired of being maligned. And they've just decided they've had enough. They're not going to just sit in silence. They're going to tell what they know. So the testimony tomorrow and the testimony Friday is going to be extremely important.
All right, Congresswoman Karen Bass, we surely appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our panel. Melik, your boys got some explaining to do.
Well, let's be honest here. Since I've been following politics, and probably I'm sure it's the case for all of us here, I've yet to see an instance where the opposing party, the party on the other side, if you will, have been supportive, haven't had questions, haven't felt that the process was fair or anything.
I'm sorry, what process?
The process that the Congresswoman was just talking about.
I'm sorry, you mean the impeachment process?
The impeachment.
It's only happened 3 times in history.
Well, but we've had hearings before.
No.
But still, we're still talking about a hearing.
No, hold up. There's a difference between, first of all, there are hearings every day.
Right.
First of all, as part of Congress's job,
right,
all the committees have hearings.
Right.
There's a difference between hearings and an impeachment hearing. You're talking about Andrew Johnson. You're talking about Richard Nixon. You're talking about Bill Clinton.
Okay.
So, 3. So there have been 3 impeachment hearings in the history of the country.
Right. So
an impeachment hearing is at a whole different level. So this is not like a hearing on climate change.
Well, that's what we've been told, though.
No, we haven't.
Well, that's what you've been told.
But no, that's not. That's literally not.
I'm sorry, who's we?
Democrats, since this has been going on, and the Republicans have been complaining about the process, Democrats have talked about that they followed the same process that has existed for every other hearing.
Actually,
Democrats have said that they followed the same process.
But the current rules in terms of hearings,
right?
Of course, secret hearings, okay, like in this case here. The rules were written by Republicans.
Yeah.
So Republicans are now complaining about the very rules that they wrote?
Well, of course they are. I mean, that's which goes to my point that I was saying. The notion that somehow.
So they're hypocritical?
Well, sure they are.
But here's the whole.
But that's not something that's uncommon.
No. First of all, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I don't waste my time with the bullshit process. Okay, because the bullshit process conversation is bullshit for a reason. Okay,
well,
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No. See, here's the deal. When you go to the bullshit process defense, that means you have none. The question here is, for your party, what are you going to do when you have Trump loyalists who are going to go before the hearing publicly and say, yes, this happened. Yes, it was a problem. And on the other hand, you've got Trump saying, read the transcript. And first of all, it's not the actual transcript. It was notes from a transcript. So how are you going to defend him lying, saying this happened, when you're going to have witnesses who were on the call say, that didn't happen. This would really happen. He did say. You now have the Department of Defense testifying that they were told, don't release the money until this happens.
Well, 2 points. I don't know if everyone who's testified are actual Trump loyalists. I know they work in the administration.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
If you are an ambassador and you gave $1 million and then you appointed the ambassador, you're a Trump loyalist.
I mean, well, that's okay. Well, that's your version of it. But on the second,
That's my version of it, right?
Well,
Hold on. I don't know anybody who drops a cool million just for the hell of it.
But on the second point,
is definitely
but on the
loyalist.
second point that I was,
Almost all of them are Trump loyalists. They were appointed by Trump.
But Sondland
they were
is
appointed
if
by
I'm
Trump.
allowed to actually finish my point.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What I was saying is on the second point, the notes that people have been criticizing, which is ironic, we're talking about hypocrisy. The notes that people have been criticizing, they were a compilation from 4 different people who had access to the conversation, and then what they do, they pull their notes together, and then they come out with a transcript. It is the very same process that has existed well before Donald Trump. So my point when I'm talking about hypocrisy, this is what I mean. It's the same process. But people are saying that. But people are saying that. This is different because it's not the full transcript.
The difference here is the guy who was on the call is lying about the call.
Well,
Rob,
but the person on the other side of the call
Kelly, the real
said
deal
that
is
there
here,
was no
Kelly.
quid pro quo.
Kelly, the real deal is here. The dude who made the call is lying. And he's lying. And first of all, and the dude who made the call is a known liar who's lied about a whole lot over and over and over again. So he don't get the benefit of the doubt when you've been lying your ass off for almost 3 years. Kelly, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you're right in that regard, but to the Congresswoman Bass's point about how the Republicans are trying to equate the process of hearings passed with an impeachment inquiry, I feel like you just kind of said exactly what her point is. You're trying to make this an even playing field in terms of what's about to happen tomorrow versus what has happened in the past. But the fact of the matter is what's going to happen tomorrow, while it may look that way, just on its face, it's not going to be what has happened in the past because this has never happened before. So that was the Congresswoman's point. It's like a hearing is not just a hearing. It's not like a hearing is a hearing is a hearing. No, every hearing has a different context. Every hearing has a different purpose. And right now, we are in a hearing, in a situation where this hearing is going to, frankly, be unprecedented. So we can't, look to history, unfortunately.
But that's what Democrats have been
Rob, go ahead. Rob, go ahead.
Look, just very quickly. So, a couple points. Number one, this line is not a normal type of line. In Trump world line, it's nighttime right now, and Trump would tell you it's sunny outside, and everybody says it's sunny, it's sunny, it's sunny. Like there's no foundation.
And the whole Republican Party will fall in line.
Everybody.
No, really, it's sunny.
It is.
But Rob, go ahead.
No, they won't. I say all the parties. No, they won't.
Oh, hell, man.
There are cowards right now in the Republican Party. There are cowards and traitors. We have never seen a case where you have a president that is basically extorted, committed bribery, and I think committed treason. We have not seen that. We have not seen that happen. We have to go through a process to lock him up and to make sure he goes that he's held accountable. And listen, he is treasonous. Like he extorted this money. He tried to extort this money in order to advance his interests. And the reason why Americans and everybody needs to be worried is because he can do that to you. He can do that to you. He can do that to you. And if everybody says that's okay, and look, no, they can't. Everybody's not the president.
Not the president.
Everybody's not the
He hasn't done anything.
Yes, he has.
Jason, here's the reality. First of all,
you want to wait?
Rob. That's a sideshow. He wants you to chase that. No. That's a side. No. Melon, your argument is a sideshow, and you want us to chase the rabbit down the foxhole. We're not. Jason, here's the whole deal. Jason, here's the whole deal. Jason, here's the whole deal. What it boils down to. What it boils down to is here, Jason. If Trump didn't lie, if Trump did not say to Ukraine, investigate Joe Biden, my political rival, we're not at this point. But the reality is he did. And we know for a fact, he lied about, oh no, I didn't want to fire James Comey. You lied. He lied when he said, no, I didn't order my White House counsel to fire him. He lied. He asked Corey Lewandowski to deliver the message. He has lied repeatedly.
He's lied about lying.
What he did was, he kept pushing the envelope. And the problem here was it got reported. Now the New York Times is reporting that Donald Trump has had conversations because he now wants to fire the CIA Inspector General who reported the whistleblower's complaint. Why? Because he does it. He wants payback to anybody who dared to do what's right.
You know, it's scary, actually. I think that's one of the scariest things. You know, you've seen, if you've been following any of the right-wing people on Twitter, they've been trying to out the whistleblower. They've been saying who he is and all these kinds of things, knowing that he will get death threats and that, you know, his safety and his family will be in danger, and that there are rules and laws that protect whistleblowers. This is a really scary thing, and Donald Trump, even though he's not a gangster, he's a guy who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, he's acting like a gangster. He's the most dangerous kind of person.
I would venture to say that he's a gangster.
No, I don't, you know.
I would venture to say that if you knew, like, the history of how he got his money, like how his father...
He's Fredo Corleone. He's not Michael.
I mean, but Fredo was a gangster. He was a bad one, but he was still a gangster.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
This is like a liberal den.
Actually, what it is, people here, Malik, have actually read the Constitution.
Yeah.
People here,
well, I have too.
People here,
I have too.
Well, guess what? Clearly, Trump has it.
Well,
and people here, understand what the rule of law is. And your party loves talking about the rule of law, but then they want to ignore the rule of law when it benefits. But since you want to speak, Jason,
we're not talking about a lot of things that we continue to talk about.
That's called chasing that rabbit hole. That's all it is. And guess what? It ain't gonna happen. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Hey, folks, as the momentum around marijuana grows around the country, the folks at marijuanastock.org have already reached more than half of their funding goal for their hemp CBD investment. That's right. If you want to take advantage of this great opportunity, you need to do it now because it won't last much longer. If you don't know, I'm talking about the hemp plant, the good cousin to marijuana, with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Also, if you don't know, hemp farming is now legal in the United States, creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. Folks, it's an incredible investment opportunity, and that's where the folks at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. Of course, as hemp continues to change the economic landscape, 420 Real Estate is allowing you to chase the American dream. The best part is right now you can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200. That's right, $200 up to $10,000. Do it now before the fund is closed. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now. Back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.